Reconnect, Kate and Ty break it down, and today we have a very special guest.
I'm excited to be here.
We're so happy to talk to you because we actually saw you on TikTok, and it was kind of that. I'm assuming you know the video that we're talking about, which was you talking to your adoptive mom, talking about the name change.
Yeah.
So first off, tell everyone who you are, and kind of like a little bit of update about how all this came to be.
Yeah, your story, whatever you're comfortable with sharing.
I'm Diana, and I'm from Chicago. I was born in Wisconsin to a lady who, I don't know, there was like a lot of stories throughout my life about how she like really loved us, and she was like putting us up for adoption to like protect us from like the mob and like all of these like crazy stories. And like her friends like really believe these stories like to their heart, to where when I'm like, no, she sold us, they're like, don't say that. I'm like, but that's what happened. Like that's it. No, she loved you, she was protecting you. I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. Like with all of the information that I now have at 38 years old, like no.
So wait, you say us as in like plural. So there's more than one. How many siblings do you have?
There is. I have 3 brothers. My oldest brother, Ryan, he was born in 1983, and my mother kept him for a couple years, but she had a lot of like issues. She had a friend who I recently tracked down and just like spent the past 2 weeks like asking this woman questions, like basically digging into a past of her life that she probably didn't really like feel like talking about. I wouldn't, but my mother had a friend that would be with her during the pregnancies and like help her out with the babies, because my mother couldn't like connect. She like wouldn't like touch us when we were crying or anything. Like she was not like a loving, nurturing mom at all. So this like lady, Kathy, she would help her, and she would basically take care of the babies. My mom got pregnant again in 1985 with my brother Michael, and he lives in California. We found each other from Ancestry like a year ago.
Oh, wow.
And he's pretty cool. I've looked for him pretty much my entire life and had decided he was fake, and then there he was. So I was like,
Wow.
oh, well.
So your biological mom, so did she keep all of you guys for like a certain period of time and then relinquished you, or?
So she kept Ryan for the longest, like almost until he was 3.
Wow.
So what I understand is that he tripped over a cord of a coffee pot and then like burned his arm, and he was having like needing like expensive surgeries that she couldn't really afford. So she told Kathy that she was going to sell Michael, who she was pregnant with, for like $10,000 so that she could keep Ryan and take care of Ryan. But Michael's adoptive mother says that at first our mom tried to get her to take the toddler, but she was like, no, I want the bun in the oven, basically.
Wow.
She's like, but I have a friend that'll take the toddler.
Whoa. Okay. So, gosh, this is like, okay, because I guess like you saying the word relinquished almost doesn't sound right in this situation, because it sounds like you're talking about actual like selling and purchasing like of babies.
Yeah, for sure. She had an attorney, and there was like a backdoor like South Side adoption agency. Like if you seemed okay, they were signing the papers.
Wow. What about like your story? Were you an infant? Were you kept with her for a period of time?
I was. She kept me for 2 months.
Oh, wow.
And that's what she liked to do. She liked to like keep us for about 2 months. There's something like about that amount of time. I don't know really.
Mm-hmm.
She never really said, and there was like nothing in any of the like diaries or journals that I found that would give me a reason for that. The only thing I could think of is like so that she could make sure that we get traumatized because we like were connected to her, and then she just like came over.
So this was all through an agency. You're saying it's an agency, adoption agency that was in Chicago, but I'm assuming it's not running anymore.
Well, I don't think it was like an actual adoption agency. I think she went through an attorney, and then this attorney had like this office of social workers like that he worked with. It was called like the HEDA Foundation, HEDA. And they would come and like check the house and like talk to the adoptive parents and then like sign the thing and say it was fine.
And so in the attorney paperwork, it like says the price, like or how, or like what she was trying to sell the babies for, or
so I have like some checks and balances books and stuff, and I see like what was going on and how much it was, and then even like after she placed the babies, like 2 months after the babies were out of her care, she was getting like a lump sum, and I'm like, what are these for?
Right.
Like, why are you getting 10 grand more like 2 months after?
And that's scary in itself because, if you don't know who these adoptive parents really are, like they could be child abusers, molesters, sex traffickers, like you're just going to see that's mind blowing.
Yeah, I think your story is unique because a lot of the times in the adoption world we see obviously the beautiful picture that people like to paint of it that like a selfless, quote unquote selfless birth mom relinquishing her baby to these hopeful people, and it's like people don't like to like categorize like finances, money with babies, and that's really what yours is like. That's what it is.
Yeah, and a lot of the adoptions in the 80s were like that. Like if you had money, you could get a baby pretty easily. And my birth mom had a thing for Jewish women because she knows that like Jewish people take care of their kids. They're big on community and family, and that they have money, and that's, she only gave her kids to Jewish people.
Wow. So all of all your siblings were raised Jewish.
Yeah.
Wow.
Ryan, though, unfortunately passed away when he was 17 from a heroin overdose.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And I didn't get to find him.
Yeah.
So it was, and I was like 15, and like he had just died when I tracked them down.
Oh, it's so sad.
His mom like hung up on me.
Yes, yeah, I honestly feel like people don't get to hear that a lot either, that I have gotten flooded with messages of adoptees saying, I finally turned 18, or even I finally got the courage to search, and I searched, and it's too late. And I feel like that kind of like, regardless if the reunion is a happy thing or a bad thing, the adoptee deserves to have that closure, or that kind of just that reunion is vital to the adoptee. So I always feel like people don't get that, like, oh, well, wait till they're 18. Well, sometimes that's not
right.
Really.
Life is life, and life is crazy, and some people pass sooner than later,
And that's unfortunate, but I feel like it goes to show the importance of like allowing the access. It's important.
Right. Well, once like I found my birth mother when I was like 14, going through my parents' stuff, there was like no like boundaries of access at that point. Like she could contact me when she wanted, and I would contact her when I wanted. Mainly more, it was me wanting, like, I guess if I like think about it after reading her diaries and stuff, like it was me that was like wanting the relationship, wanting the connection. I would just like come there whenever, because she was like only an hour away. So like I would get my parents, and I would have like my boyfriend or whoever drive me to her house.
Yeah. So when you were growing up, young child, did you always know that you were adopted?
Yeah, my parents told me when they were pregnant with my younger brother. So I was like 3,
Okay.
And I was like talking about being in my mom's belly, and she was like, well, no, you were in like another lady's belly.
And so my other question would be, so was your birth mom involved your whole entire life, or just when you were wanting her to be around?
No, she was not. She was not involved, but like she was close. She told me that like she always checked in on us, and that like she always knew where we were, and she could see us whenever she wanted. She would like come by our schools or whatever. And I don't know if that's true or not, but once I was like 14, I found her, then that was it.
And you found her all on your own. Like, did your parents help you at all, or did you just kind of do it by yourself?
No, they have they had like a white binder full of information about like my biological parents and like who my brother's dad could be, who my dad could be, because we all have different dads. So there's just like random notes and stuff, and there was a name, and it said like Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. So I was like, all right, like what's the worst that can happen? It's not listed. And like we had first just gotten a computer, and so like I was using whitepages.com, and I looked her up, and then I had like my own line in my bedroom. It was like,
it was the cool.
Oh yeah, you were the cool kid. Having your own phone line in your room.
I had my own line in my room, and like one of those like see-through phones.
Yes.
Yep.
And I called her, and like it was like hearing my own voice like on the other side of the phone. Like I sound like her. She's got like a lot sweeter of a sound, but like when she picked up the phone and I was just like a little girl, I was like, hello?
Right.
Like, so what's your problem? Like, what's wrong with me? Why didn't you want me?
And did she tell you? Like, was she upfront with you right away?
No, she was like, there's nothing wrong with you, honey. Blah, blah, blah. I always loved you. It was my blood on the table. I was trying to protect you. Your father couldn't read. Well, I text with my father all the time, and he can fucking read.
Wow. So she actually told you stuff about your biological dad that wasn't true.
Oh, so many things about him that like aren't true, aren't accurate. Like in her opinion, like she talked about my grandma, and that was like a big part of it. She didn't want my grandma raising me. She wanted like to be a family, but no, she didn't. Kathy said that she moved back, like took off once she knew that the pregnancy was like solid, and like she knew that I was a girl before she left Florida and went back to Wisconsin and started plotting.
So any of my listeners out there, do you have anybody in your household, maybe it's even you, that is just literally obsessed with cereal? Nova and Tyler, they could eat cereal every day, all day. And I was just thinking to myself, like, isn't there a better alternative? Something that's more fueling and wholesome? And that's when I found Magic Spoon. Magic Spoon makes high protein, zero sugar cereals and treats. Reinvented from your childhood. Oh, the nostalgia. Every serving of Magic Spoon high-protein cereal has 13 grams of protein, 0 grams of sugar, and 4 grams of net carbs. They come in nostalgic flavors like fruity, cocoa, and frosted. Frosted is definitely one of my favorites. And Nova loves the cocoa because she's been obsessed with chocolate cereal. Magic Spoon's high-protein treats are crispy, crunchy, airy, and an easy way to get 12 grams of protein on the go. They come in mouth-watering flavors like marshmallow, chocolate peanut butter, and dark chocolate. Both are great on the go, pre or post-workout, or even as a midnight snack. Get $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com/breakitdown. Or look for Magic Spoon on Amazon or at your nearest grocery store. That's magicspoon.com/breakitdown for $5 off.
Shopify's point of sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure way to take payments in person? We've got you covered. How about card readers you can rely on anywhere you sell?
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, that too. Want one place to manage all your online and in-person sales? That's kind of our thing. Wherever you sell, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/listen. Shopify.com/listen.
So how did you meet your biological dad? How did that happen?
She gave my parents the information, like the names and stuff. Like it was always there, but I don't think that she thought I would find them. Like in one of the journals, she's like, there are like 300 infantes in Tampa, Florida, and I've only called 3 or something. Like she was just like, I'm like, okay, well, this is child's play because I've figured it out myself.
And do you still have a relationship like today with your biological father?
I do. I just saw him in December. We went to Florida, and so we saw him, and he was able to meet my sons because he's only met my oldest. So that was kind of fun for them.
Oh, wow. So how many kids do you have?
I have 3.
Okay. And what are the ages of the kids?
17, 9, and 4.
Okay, you got to spread out there. You're in the mix.
Yeah, I was pregnant with Star when like the first season came out for you guys, and I just was like, I just remember watching, and I was like, I wonder how this is gonna be. Like, I wonder what's gonna happen. Like, how's she gonna grow up? Like, are they gonna stay in contact with her? Like, I always, wondered about it. You like forget like the random people that were like on the shows that like don't really stick out. And like for me, I like Janelle because her relationship with her mom like reminds me of me and my mom. And I was always like, Barbara, fuck off. Like, you're so worst. Like, and then you guys, because I'm adopted, and I was just like, I think that's like great that they were able to be like, okay, like maybe now's not the time. And then you guys are like still together and all of that. So I feel like that's like also like really great.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of, even adoptees or birth parents or adoptive parents, we always get the same kind of message that, like, remember some of the episodes, some of the iconic moments, but the story of the adoption was really kind of something that sticks with people, we realize. And we've also realized that, ever since our show premiered, we haven't really seen another real adoption story play out the way this one has.
No one.
Yeah, so I think it's kind of, we're in a unique position, which is why we wanted to even, do this podcast. Our whole point is just to get the stories of adoptees because we know there's so many like nuances with it, and I think it'll serve people better if we understand that you can't put all adoptees into one box, and you can't, some of them have really good reunion stories, some of them have really bad ones, some of them wish they never met their bio family, and some of them wish they never were adopted in the first place. So I think in order to kind of bridge the gap, I feel like we need to like, share these stories. And I thought, hearing a little bit of your story online that you shared was just one thing that kind of hit both of us, and we were like, this is important and needs to be talked about.
And I feel like when I came across your video on TikTok about, you having that conversation with your adoptive mom about like, she asked you not to change my name. Why did you change my name? And when I first saw that video, that was like me in the beginning of kind of coming out of my own fog of being a birth mom, and it was just like, whoa, it was just intense to watch. And you were one of the first adoptees that I saw on TikTok. And I wanted to ask you a question though, since your birth mom was like keeping these babies for a little bit and then selling these babies and stuff, the birth fathers, did your birth father even know that you were being placed for adoption?
Oh my God. So the rest of the men are like scumbags, like lowlifes, like probably didn't care, probably didn't even know she was pregnant. Like one of them was married for sure, but like my dad wanted me, and he was wanting to like be a family. Like he didn't really like her all that much, but like it was what it was, and she was pregnant, so he was gonna try to do the right thing.
Yeah.
Says, and she just like took off. He said she took off, and they tried to find her. My grandpa tried to find her, and every time they got close, she was like 10 steps ahead of them. They couldn't find her. And then in my adoption paperwork, she said she didn't know who the father was. That's not true, like at all. So then when I did contact my birth father, they asked for a DNA test, obviously, to confirm, and we did. And then like after that, we've had a pretty solid relationship. Like I have two cousins, but one that like I talk to more, and the other's like 10 years younger than me, so I don't really.
Well, and how sad for him too.
Yeah.
Even you, but also for him to like, know that this baby is out there and want to parent this baby. And I feel like birth mom, like adoption agencies will tell the parents, like, if you don't want the dad to come fighting or you just say you don't know who the father is. You know what I mean? Like I've seen that a lot, and I know that's one of the ways that they can kind of go around things. But it's like, that's horrible for him, because then he's going through life knowing you're out there somewhere.
He met a woman who he's still with now, and she told me that when she met him, it was about like 10 years after after he had split up, or after she had taken off, maybe a little bit less, maybe like 8 years, something like that. But she said that he was like really like sad about it still, and told her like, I have a kid maybe somewhere someday that, you know, might find me.
That's
maybe.
so sad.
Wow.
They wanted me. So like once I contacted them, my grandma was like about it. She was like, come visit.
Aw.
So who was the first biological relative that you met in person?
My mom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so her birth mom. Yeah.
So like,
Well, no, brother, because we were adopted into the same family, so we were raised together.
oh, you were okay. Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know
Yeah, I
that.
didn't know that. So let's So establish the family dynamics here. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have your parents have a biological child, like you said, right? Your brother.
They got one more of Nikki's babies.
Okay. So that's actually rare because not a lot of adoptees get to be raised with their biological siblings. So was that two separate times? Like this was two, like she
Yeah,
went back and said, "Hey, I want another baby," or
she got pregnant like immediately, I feel like, because me and my brother are 13 months apart.
Oh,
so,
wow.
like, she got rid of me and she must have like moved in with Scott and like got pregnant with Eddie right then, and then quickly it was over, and she had to get a restraining order on him because he told her he didn't want any more kids and he wasn't interested in kids, and like, you know, and then she got one anyway, so he like left.
wow.
And
Okay, and so then obviously she contacted your parents and was like, "Hey, I have another baby."
contacted the attorney and
Okay.
was like, see if they, because my mom basically was like, if you get pregnant again, let us know, you know, so she's not alone.
Yeah. So okay. So your mom is so she's able to have biological children.
She wasn't until she like adopted the baby. So like babies make your body make hormones.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yes.
So like sometimes you can, if you couldn't get pregnant, then you have a baby around you, then you can all of a sudden.
So she did not know she could have children until after adopting.
Well, yeah, no, she tried, and like they had IVF, and like I have their whole IVF thing in my binder because she was like trying to like show me like we tried and we couldn't, and so we decided to do this.
Wow.
Yeah, that's really intense because I feel like that's also like, I feel like, you know, a lot of people don't understand how that is. I've heard another adoptee tell me that, you know, she had the same situation happen to her where her parents ended up, you know, miraculously being able to have a biological child after adopting her. And she said the moment that baby came home, she felt, I mean, she's like, I could tell there was
Just a difference.
Yeah, she's like, I could just a shift in the dynamic. And I think people just imagine that it doesn't affect an adoptee as much as as they think it would, having another biological child that you know is, you know, that's their baby, and you know you're biologically not, and that's a whole different thing to be, you know, raised around.
Yeah, for sure. And my brother is like the good one. Their biological child is the good one, and me and Eddie are trouble.
And how was your relationship with your adoptive parents growing up, and like how is it now?
Growing up, it was very strained. I told like therapists that like I wasn't able to connect with them, that we don't have anything in common. You know, I'm like having trouble like meeting their expectations, stuff like that. Now it's like, it's okay for the most part, but like we have our stuff. We live in a multi-generational household for like half the year, and then they snowbird to Arizona and I like can breathe. But while they're here, like my mom is pretty overbearing and tries to like be controlling. You've heard like in that one clip, like that's generally how she's talking.
And so to go back to that TikTok video that people witnessed online, so you were going through paperwork and you saw something to where your biological mom wanted you to keep your first name or your whole name?
She wanted me to keep my first name.
Okay. And so obviously it seemed like in that video that you were very upset that your adoptive parents didn't listen to her on that. Can you kind of express why
Well, so I just felt if they agreed not to change it, why would they change it? And I was 2 months old, so I already knew my name. Like I had a name, and she asked you not to change it, and you said you wouldn't, and then you did, and that's rude. And like also my birth mother called me Jessie like the whole time I knew her. Like
wow.
she did not call me Diana ever. So like when she would call me, she'd be like, "Hi, Jessie," or like
Wow.
when she would see me in person, like she would call me Jessie.
And what did that feel like for you? Because that had to have been kind of weird.
I feel like that was probably maybe like, I don't know, confusing at the time. Probably made me feel like I had like two people. Like I was like two.
It goes back to like you feeling like you have to, like you said earlier about expectations that your mom had, kind of like, you know, living up to their expectations, and then you meet your birth mom and she's calling you by a totally different name.
Right.
Like that's another kind of like expectation to kind of like be okay with. I feel like that's pretty common across what I've witnessed with a lot of other adoptees.
So I don't know about all you other moms out there, but I know for me, I am sick and tired of having to think about what I'm going to cook for dinner every single night. Like, it drives me insane. But recently, I have found Every Plate. And guess what? There's no more questions about what's going to be for dinner tonight because now I just know. And even better, everything tastes so good and is so fresh. When you use Every Plate, you get restaurant-level deliciousness week after week with recipes like Mexican street corn hash and crispy buffalo ranch chicken. Love buffalo ranch chicken. You'll even spend less on these flavor-packed homemade meals than you would on a normal groceries or at a restaurant. Up your dinner game in 30 minutes or less with Every Plate's clear, easy-to-follow recipes. Thanks to Every Plate's constantly rotating weekly recipes delivered right to your door, you'll always have the best answer to what's for dinner. We love using Every Plate because, like I said, there's no more guesses of what I'm going to cook for dinner. And guess what? The kids like it too because it's that good. So what are you waiting for? Dig into these flavor-packed meals your household will love. New customers can enjoy this special offer of only $1.99 a meal. Go to everyplate.com/podcast and use code BREAKITDOWN199 to get started. Applied as discount on first box, limited time only.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it just like, it's weird because this like one person says all of these things and that it's like one way. And then these other people who are also your parents are like telling you all of these other things and that it's a different way, and it's hard to kind of figure out like where you fit in or like you find your truth. And I guess like that's kind of what I've been doing since my mom died. I have been trying to get her stuff from her friend who like hoarded it for like 7 years and finally gave it to me after telling me like it didn't exist, but it does. And so now I'm like able to really like sort through all of her stuff, all of her pictures, and like build myself a story and a timeline that really does make sense, that fills in the blanks. Like I know everything about her. You know, some things I wish I didn't know. Just like at this point, like I'm not sure if all of this information was helpful, but a lot of it was.
Yeah. And I was going to say, like, if anything, adoptees deserve that. They deserve to have answers to the questions that they have. Like, they deserve to know certain things and for it to not just be one big secret.
I also feel like they deserve the dignity to find out for themselves and make that decision. Like, I know some of the stuff you said you wish you never would have known, but you do know. And so it's like, I mean, to be in the dark about certain stuff isn't, you know, it just creates this feeling of just like unsettling, you know, where do I fit in? What am I? And it's like, you know, a lot of us have dark parts of our story that we probably wish, you know, wasn't there. But at the end of the day, at least we had the dignity to know, and we deserve that. We deserve to know those things and have that be part of kind of our character. But I feel like the video that we watched when you were talking to your mom, like it was emotional because I could sense that you were trying so hard to just be neutral and try to talk and say how you felt, and it felt so dismissive.
She did feel dismissive.
You know, and I don't mean to be like harsh, but
I'm being dismissive and dissing. That's what her like word is, dissing. I'm dissing like her name that she picked for me that was like someone from her family.
Well, and it's like, no, you were just asking the question. Yeah, like, she asked you, why did you change my name when you told her, you made a promise to her that you wouldn't, but then you adopt me and then you go behind her back and you change my name anyways. Like,
well, I feel like you have a right to also to know that, like, I have a right to make a choice on what my identity, or at least discover what my identity is, and for you to just take the very first thing away from me before I even consented to it, you know, I mean, that's not fair.
Yeah, I definitely was not like happy at that time with like the information that I had in front of me, and that was even before like I got all of her stuff. That was just in some notes that I've had this whole time that I just like looked over, must not have like read or something, you know, because every now and then I'll get super interested and like try and dig in and try and find my missing link brother who, thanks to Ancestry, you know, now I have. And like, he didn't know about me, but I knew about him. So I've known about him my whole life since I was like 14 years old. So like when he found us and like I was talking to him and I asked like his birthday and stuff and he told me, I was like, no, it's not. I was like, yeah, right. Like, you're really him? I was like, oh my God, I've been looking for you my whole life. And like, he's like my best friend. Like we are like two peas in a pod. He's very crazy, but I love him.
But
like,
what was that like for the first time, like meeting him, this brother that you knew you had out there your whole entire life?
It was, I don't know. It was like interesting. It was like, we went out to dinner and I brought my friend to California with me, my best friend since I was 5. Cause I was like, I can't do this by myself. I need you to come with me. She's like, okay. So like we met at a restaurant and like we were just like kind of sitting next to each other and just like looking at each other, like kind of like seeing like, I guess looking for like the mirroring, the genetic mirroring, which there is. Also, he's very short and I like to like pick on him a lot about it because I feel like as the little sister, I should have been roasting Lord Farquaad my whole life.
Yeah.
So now
you're making up for past time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that your biological mother ended up passing away.
She did.
Okay. How long ago was that?
She passed away in 2017 in June.
Okay.
The coroner says it was a heart attack. If you let her crazy friends tell you, the mob finally tracked her down and made it look like a heart attack. You know?
So will you explain?
All this stuff with
I'm like, what
the
is
tigers and
yes,
the mob?
I'm like, what's
and
happening?
like, was this just some like fake story, or is all this crap real?
Oh, okay. So like, my mom was born the youngest of 10 children.
Holy crap.
To a mother who was like, she was working in hotels and she was like sleeping with a married man, and like all of her kids were like living with different sisters that she had because her husband and some of her kids passed away in a car accident. A freak accident, like some trailer accident, you know, something like that. Probably like in the late 40s, because my mom was born in 1951. And they had her like staying in boarding houses for the first 2 years of her life. And then her uncle adopted her and took her to Florida. Wow. And she kind of like grew up there. She had a friend that she made that had like a brother, and she was very close with this family, this woman, Renee, and like her brother, Alan. And like my birth mother made up a lot of things. So like as I was like going and learning, like I had to figure out like what's true and what's not. Sometime while she was in Tampa, she was like hanging out with like mobsters, and like there's this man named Harlan Blackburn, and you can like read books about him. He ran this thing in Tampa called the Bolita Lottery, and it was like a racket, like a gambling racket or something. Not legal, obviously. Right. They're like gambling, and then she was like hanging out with mobsters from like the Tampa Mafia and like from the Miami Mafia, and she had like all of these connections. And her and my brother's dad got busted for something and basically agreed to snitch, and they put her, Bill went to jail, but they put her in witness protection and like were trying to have her testify. And then she like ran away from witness protection, and then she like contacted the people that she was supposed to be being protected against. She ended up like not showing up for like the court date. There's all these like newspaper articles, like they could not find her. And then she like she didn't have her original documents because she was in witness protection and she was erased. So
weird.
she had this identity, this new identity, and she like picked a last name from one of her husbands, and she just like went with it, and she became Nikki Martin. And you know, they didn't track her down in little Wisconsin. You know,
what a crazy story.
That is so crazy.
But so she ended up being adopted herself at a young age.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. But like by her maternal uncle, like someone like from her family.
Right.
Still.
Right.
You know, not like random people.
True.
How was your relationship with your dad?
My adopted dad?
Yeah.
It's okay.
Okay.
He's just like, he worked a lot, and he is a quiet person in general. He's like the strong, silent type. Like, my dad worked and exercised and like sometimes was home, but like really he was like overseas, like traveling. My parents were really like busy with their jobs.
And what did they do? Yeah, because what
they were manufacturers reps. So basically they like get products and sell them to companies. But do you remember Crate and Barrel?
Yeah.
Okay, so my mom was like the main distributor and the main buyer for Crate and Barrel. So like anything that you saw at Crate and Barrel from like 1980 until like 1999 or like the early 2000s, my mom hand selected from different places for them to sell.
Oh, wow.
So that's how you had a landline in your room.
Yeah.
Growing up.
And my dad worked very closely with the creation of Costco and stuff.
Oh, wow.
So they both were very, like, my mom worked at home, but like my dad traveled. We did have like babysitters and like nannies. We had like a live-in, you know.
So you would say, I mean, so being raised, I mean, financially pretty privileged, pretty well off, not in a bad situation.
No. But you know, I always say that just because the cage is gold, it doesn't make it less of a cage.
I agree.
Right.
You know, I still get like, my mom tries to control things that I do and say, even like on Facebook, she'll be like, I don't like that, take that down.
Oh.
So I'm like, I'm just going to put you on restricted because I'm going to post whatever I want.
Right. Like, how are you going to control every...
Well, how does she feel about you kind of sharing your story?
She thinks it's fine as long as she doesn't get in any trouble.
Okay.
And there's backlash on me. I'm like, I am 38 years old. What backlash is coming? Like, the attorney is dead.
Right.
The mother is dead. Like, most of the fathers are dead. One of the children also dead. Like, you know, I'm like, who's coming?
Yeah, I wonder if she means just like public. And it's like, well, you shouldn't be ashamed of anything you did. Then you're obviously ashamed of ways you did things if you're worried about the backlash.
Yeah, like I've been like, so how legal was this? Legal enough.
Legal enough.
See, and that's kind of where I'm like, you know, I feel like the lack of transparency when it comes to adoption, all people involved, is just never good for anybody. It's like it's just it never serves anybody. And I feel like if, you know, even birth parents, you know, I've heard stories of birth parents not telling their kids they have afterwards that they place a baby and they have a sibling out. Like, we can't keep operating in this shame shadow because it ruins it just affects people.
This is an ad by BetterHelp. I swear these days they have so many ways that you can seek therapy and so many online options. It's almost like, which one should I go to? Should I try this one? Should I go in person? Will my insurance cover any of these? Will it not? Like, so many questions. And it feels like there's advice for everything. Cold plunges, gratitude journals, screen detoxes. But how do you know what actually works for you? With the internet and information overload about mental health and wellness, it can be a struggle to know what's true and what actions to take these days. I mean, a lot of you guys know Tyler and I have definitely benefited from therapy, and we've put in a lot of work. we're major believers in therapy. And even when you're feeling good, it's just nice to have somebody to talk to. Me personally, I have used BetterHelp in the past when I was going through some rough patches in life. And I really loved the ease of being able to find a therapist that really matched what I was looking for. And another great part was I could do it from the comfort of anywhere, my own bed, my couch. When my babies were taking naps, like therapy just felt way more accessible this way. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 5 million people globally. And it's convenient. You can join a session with a therapist at the click of a button, helping you fit therapy into your busy life. Plus, switch therapists at any time. As the largest online therapy provider in the world, BetterHelp can provide access to mental health professionals with a diverse variety of expertise. Talk it out with BetterHelp. Our listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/breakitdown. That's betterhelp.com/breakitdown. Thanks, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's episode.
Oh, for sure. I actually asked my mom, like, maybe last week even, because I was like, just after I learned all this stuff and like reached out to Kathy and hunted this poor little librarian who wanted nothing to do with the wild, wild west anymore. Like, I hunted her down and talked to her. And then I was like talking to my mom. I was like, why did you say like this woman like cared about me or us like really at all? And she's like, I don't know. She's like, I thought she did. She thought she was helping. She's like, I was trying to make it sound better. And I'm like, you shouldn't have, because it's not better.
Well, yeah, because then you get disappointed, because then you find out that none of this it's not the way that you were raised thinking it was, and that's devastating on top of already all the losses that come along with being an adoptee in the first place.
Oh, yeah, for sure. And like, I suspected that she used herself as a baby factory, but like to have it completely confirmed, like, and this woman basically walked me through each pregnancy, like each adoption, like each time she talked with the lawyer, like how she was like, what she did to your dad made me sick. I'm like, what did she do to him? Please tell me. And this lady told me like where my dad's house was. Like, so she knows, like, she's not just like making up stuff to talk on the phone to like some girl that is the daughter of someone she knew. Like, she knows what she's talking about. And she even said, she's like, you would be the third child, right?
Oh, wow.
And I'm, yes, that's me.
And so wait, again, refresh my, so how many did she have that she ended up selling in total?
4.
Okay.
But she told people that she had like an older daughter one time. Like, there's people that believe that, like, some baby died of SIDS, some little girl. But I don't think that's true, just in my professional opinion, based off of everything I know. I think it's a lie. And she also said that we have like an older brother whose name is Sean, who is significantly older than us. There is a Sean. He is not our brother. He is her friend Renee's son.
Oh, okay.
But for some reason, my mother decided that she was the mother and like spun this whole story, like even wrote his birth story down.
Oh, whoa. I take it that she struggles with some mental health issues.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Some mental health for sure. Some diagnoses that are accurate, but some, from what I understand, she was like amping that shit up. So she would she would take her car, leave it at the mall, and then go home and call the police, say she didn't know where her car was, that she just walked in the door and doesn't know where she came from, how she got there. They would take her to the hospital. They would document it. And so like so many times of this, then she gets a new diagnosis of like multiple personality disorder.
Oh, wow.
Because she's not remembering. So like, I don't know if she even had that, but like bipolar for sure, psychosis 100%. Like, she wasn't normal. And then after the babies, that's when she got into like the large cats. And she started like...
Yeah, talk about the large cat things. Because I just saw that on your TikTok the other day and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
She like, I don't know, I guess she like got enough money selling her 4 children that she was able to purchase some exotic cats, and she got some men to go into business with her because she was cute and little, and she used it. She did. And she got all these cats, and she was breeding them, and she had like a sanctuary, and she was like doing like shows at schools, like educational shows at schools with these cats. Like she was doing, if you didn't know all the crap, bad things she did in her life before that, you would think like she was doing pretty good.
So that's like some Tiger King shit almost.
Yeah. That's why I always like make like references a little bit. Like, and everybody asks me, they're like, is Carol Baskin your mom? I'm like, no. Carol Baskin's a go, first of all. Don't insult me.
Yeah,
so your bio mom, was it like tigers and lions and shit?
Yeah.
That is crazy.
And she had them when I met her. So like the first day I met her tiger, her leopard, her
oh my God.
African serval, like her monkey, her lemur.
What the
her
hell?
Goats.
You must have been like going through a whirlwind of insanity. Because that sound, I could like even just like.
And I was 14.
Right.
Oh my God. And so were your parents, did they like go with you when you met her? Did they like.
Mom took me, we have a video, like a VHS video. And she's like recording me in the car. She's like, we're going, like blah, blah, blah. We like meet this lady and like I'm watching like her face and I'm like, well, she's not excited to see me at all. She's like, fuck.
Really?
You know, like she obviously like she has anxiety and her own issues. Like she had her windows tinfoiled. So, and that was then. And she was like probably the healthiest that she'd ever been mentally when I first met her.
And she still had tinfoil on the windows.
Oh, she did.
At her healthiest.
Her house was like a hoarder house. Like you could not walk around in there, really. Like the bathroom was like barely usable.
She do drugs?
Who?
Your biological mom?
She did. Well, she tries to say she didn't, but she definitely did. And I found in some notes that I thought that she probably did opiates when she was pregnant with me, but I wasn't sure. But then I saw in some notes that she was on like Dilaudid and like Valium. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
You did take an opiate probably the whole time.
Well, and that's sad, just like you saying, like that was your first reaction. Meeting her for the first time was like, wow, she doesn't look happy to see me. Like, that's sad.
Well, I think at the time, like, we both probably were feeling very anxious.
Oh, I'm
which is
sure.
my opinion now, watching the video and, like, seeing everyone's face from, like, this outside entity, you know, I just, like, look at her kind of different.
Well,
like,
of course.
My mom wanted me to go and, like, meet this lady so that, like, I could feel whole, and that's also why she took me to meet my dad, so that I could, like, maybe it would help me with my problems.
So do you think your mom was her intentions were pure when she was taking you to meet them?
Well, yeah, I mean, at that point, she was like, okay, well, she dug them up, so I may as well just, like, let's just do this. Let's just let her.
Was she upset that you dug them up?
No.
Okay.
It doesn't seem that way. I mean, like, once, like, maybe a couple times in life, she's been like, and how do you think it makes me feel? You know, but, like, not really. That I'm rejecting her. It's just that I'm also, like, trying to get something else. Like, I need more information. I need to know who I am, where I came from, why I'm like this.
Of course.
Yeah, so did your biological brother, did he feel the same way?
So actually my brothers both don't give, Michael probably, if she was alive, he probably would have, like, wanted, you know, and Eddie did have a relationship with her, but, like, towards the end she was really sick in the head towards the end, so it wasn't, she had faked her death before, so when she died and her friend called us and told us, I was like, I don't know if I believe this, like, not to be a dick, but, like, I'm like, I need to go talk to my brother, and I, like, went and I was, like, knocked on his bedroom door at the time, and I was like, this lady says she's dead, and he's like, well, I don't know if that's true. He's like, see if you can get he's like, get more information. He's like, I just talked to her last week. I'm like, okay, so she couldn't be dead now.
Right.
Like, and he's like, just get more information. I don't know if I believe that. I'm like, me too. So I called this lady back, and she's like, well, you can call the funeral home.
Oh, wow.
Like, figure it out. Because they live in, like, a small town in Wisconsin. So, like, the coroner is the funeral home. Like,
okay.
Stop shop.
Yeah.
So I called there, and they're like, yeah, we have her. They're like, you know, I'm like, well, like, legally, we're not, like, her anything.
Right.
But that is our mother, you know? And they were like, okay, so like they let us claim the like next of kin thing. They let us come. But she was like a ward of the state. So they did everything was paid for by the state. They cremated her. I had them set up like a funeral for her friends to come and like do like a little visitation. But she was like 4 hours away in Wisconsin. So when me and my brother went, I remember them like bringing her up so we could like see her. And I was like, that's not even her. And Eddie, my brother, he's like, yeah, it is. I'm like, no, I want to see her tattoos. Move the sheet, you know? And then like, I was like, okay.
So you're almost like I want to confirm. Like I need to confirm.
Yeah, like I need to see like for sure.
I have to say though, I feel like you even doing the whole, you know, taking the responsibility of being next of kin and just doing the whole funeral thing. I mean, that was something that's really generous of you to do, especially considering the relationship that you guys had. I mean, that's amazing.
Before that she really was a baby dealing.
Oh.
Okay, so this is all before.
Yeah. This was all before. So this was like when I knew her, like I didn't have all this information. Oh. I got all of this information after she
died. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So
okay.
Basically, she told me she was writing journals for me and doing this like for my whole life. And when she died, her friend who like hoarded this stuff, I was like, okay, well, I'm going to come with my brother so I can get the stuff. Like I want my journals. I want the photos. I want the history. I want it all. And this lady's like, it doesn't exist. I don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. And then like over the years, I've contacted her every now and then and been like, are you sure? Like, I know that like she had this stuff for me. Like a lot of things she said weren't true, but like, I know that like this was true. Like, I know that she did have this journal for me and like, I want it. So when my brother found me through Ancestry, it was actually through a link through my mother's half sister, and she contacted this friend and was like, someone says they're, you know, and then this friend contacted me and was like, well, you have a hit on Ancestry DNA. I'm like, how do you know you're not related to us? And she's like, well, I've had this information. I actually do have it, and you should call this phone number. And I was like,
wow.
You have all her stuff, and you've been telling me you didn't have it. Like, why? Were you afraid, like, I wouldn't keep in contact with you? Like, was there something? She's like, I was protecting you from the information. Like, she didn't want you to have the information until she was sure that, like, all these mafia people were gone. Like, it is 2025. There is no mafia. Like,
yeah, because you said when she died, she was ward of the state. Was that for mental health reasonings?
No, because she was like on public aid and stuff. Like,
okay.
When she like left and ran away from witness protection, she like got on all the government like assistance.
Okay.
She got like money and food, and then she had this like non-for-profit tiger thing after the kids, so she was able to like filter money in that way.
Right. Okay. Your story is just
it's insane.
It's insane. Yeah, it is, and it's mind-blowing. Like, and especially like I can't imagine the rage that you felt after she died and come to find out that she really was just getting pregnant to sell these babies like that.
Oh, I was pissed last week. I was having a rough time. I was like, cool. So I was like born for no reason. Like, I'm like, that's so
But you know that's not true. Deeply, right?
No, I know. And like, I was like just feeling bad. And like my daughter, actually my 17-year-old, she's like, Mom, that doesn't mean that she didn't want you or any of that. She just wanted money. And that's what she wanted. And she's like, and what she did with you and your brothers had nothing to do with you.
Or your value. I mean, think about it. Your 17-year-old probably is really happy that you're here. You know what I mean? I mean, so like, even though you think I wasn't born for a reason, but it's like there's ripple effects that happen to everyone's life that, you know.
But I can understand that being really painful to find out in those thoughts. Yes. And feeling like, wow, I meant nothing but money. You know what I mean? Like that is hurtful.
Yeah. And to my dad, like, you didn't have to do that. You could have given me to him. Like,
yeah.
Did your biological dad, like, did you find out any bad things about him? Or
my dad is a very cool guy, and you know, he just is laid back. Like, he lives in Florida, and he's just super laid back, and
He's normal?
Yeah, he's normal. He's a normal guy.
So no tigers, no lions, no mafia.
He was like a house painter. He likes to garden, like rides a Harley. He's just like a simple man.
That had to be so healing for him, for you to find each other.
Yeah. Well, he definitely like appreciates it, and he loves our relationship, and like he sends me like memes and stuff, like just like funny stuff.
Yeah.
You know, and like he likes to hear about my sons and like that, how we like have stuff in common and stuff like that. You know, did
you feel any difference when you became a mom yourself as an adoptee? Like, did you feel any like sense of like? 'Cause I hear a lot of stories about adoptees having
when
their
they
own
become
children
moms.
and they become parents, and it's like kind of it hits them.
Yeah, you know, I feel like I really like have a very deep connection like with my kids, and like I study like every inch of their face and like what face they make that may look like me, you know, or like stuff like that, like what behavior reminds me of me from them, or like why they might be acting this way, what they might be feeling. Like it's very cool for me to like see all that and learn all that, and like really like be able to help my son when he is like having issues with his like behavior and stuff. And I'm like, hey bro, like I get it. Like, let's work it out.
Right.
Well, yeah, and you also kind of learn growing up that like you're not going to put these crazy expectations on your kids that you had to feel growing up. I mean, because it obviously didn't help at all. So it's interesting how you're able to kind of take some stuff that happened to you and kind of, you know what I mean? I mean, that's the whole point of having kids, right? Being a parent is to break generational curses, and I feel like you have a lot of generational curses going on.
I'm working on it. I'm working on it. I'm trying to heal it at least, or like, but you know, even like just not giving my kids up is like breaking that cycle, you know?
Yep.
And she didn't get to like see me now, but like I know she sees me now.
Oh, she does.
I know she does. And that's like enough for me. And my parents here see me. And they know, and like we might not always get along, but they tell me that I am a good mom, you know, like,
which is huge.
I might not do everything right, but
who does? Who does? We all mess up in one way or another.
We all know what the hell we're doing.
No,
it's true.
Yeah, but so with your now, like, do your children have like good relationships with your parents and like, you know, grandma, grandpa, all that kind of stuff? So that's all normal.
Kids love their grandparents. And the grandparents love them. Like my mom loves to do things with the kids. She always has. And, you know, they did really want to be parents, obviously, because they do help me still like with my kids.
That's awesome that they're good grandparents. That's important.
They are. My kids love them a lot.
That's great. I'm glad that that's the way it is, because I feel like sometimes, you know, adoptees get older and estrangement happens, and then kids get affected by it, and you know, yeah,
I love it when it's like, you know, adoptive parents maybe have made mistakes with their adopted children through the years, but then they can turn around and kind of be better grandparents than what they were parents. I feel like that's super important. I wish some of our parents would
like, what?
do the same.
They always make sure that we're like safe and secure and like in at home in our home environment. You know, like when I didn't live here, like they wanted us back here, living here. So like, it's not perfect, and everybody has their stuff, but like they do want me to do well because they want the kids to do well.
Right.
And you know, I always tell my mom, I'm like, we may not go about it the same way, but we do have like the same goal. And like, I wish that like in these moments of like dis-ease that like you could realize that like we want the same things,
right,
for the kids, like everything. We have the same goals, just like my way is different than yours.
Yeah, and that's what I'm like. Part of me is like, and I'm mom.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You know, I might do it differently than you do it, but this is the way I'm gonna do it.
Yeah,
for sure.
But do you feel like growing up? I know you said that, you know, there's different ways of doing things. Did you notice like how early on did you notice that like, okay, we have such differences where you almost can't deny that I'm adopted?
Actually, like nothing really like that. People actually would tell us that we look alike when we're out. Even now, people are like, "Oh, you look like your mom," and me and her will like look at each other and laugh because, like, okay,
Well, that's funny.
I do.
What do you wish people would know about being an adoptee in that experience that you think that society may get wrong?
I think that people really need to like understand that if you do choose to like adopt a child and have an adopted child in your house, like you cannot be treating them different. And like if someone does, that needs to be corrected instead of just like accepted. Because like not fitting in with your family and like the people that are supposed to be around you can cause you to seek comfort from negative people that really shouldn't be around you, and if you're feeling like you don't have connection at home, you're going to seek it outside.
Yeah. I hear mom. I hear the word. Yeah.
That's all right. We're about done here anyways.
Sounds like our house.
Yeah. Oh gosh. All the time. So for people that don't know where to find you, where can people find you at?
You can find me on TikTok at Black Market Baby. And that's really the only one that I like use publicly. Everything else is pretty like locked down.
Yeah, that's fine. But I just want to say thank you for, sharing your story and your crazy story. I'm like, wow, it is so intense. And just for being vulnerable.
Yeah.
And it's super important. It's important to talk about, like Ty said in the beginning, like no adoptee story is ever the same in any way. And so I just want to say thank you for being vulnerable and talking about it and sharing it with us.
Of course. Thank you. I definitely I'm trying to do more stuff like this and talk about it more and like be a voice. It's like something I've wanted to do for a long time and try and, advocate for other people. Cause a lot of like adults in my age group that are adopted have a lot of like social emotional issues that like stem from them being adopted.
Yeah.
And I find with men that they don't want to talk about it or deal with it.
Right.
Yeah.
And it needs to be. That's the way that you can heal, is from talking about it and relating to other people.
And I also feel like that's kind of why we're even doing this, because I think the more we just keep talking about it, the more we keep shedding light on all these nuances and all these different stories, the more the conversation keeps going, the more people learn. I mean, like I'm pretty sure you're still learning stuff as you go about what it's like. And, I know a lot of adoptees discover certain things later in life that we're like, oh, if I would have read this book or if I would have heard that story, 10 years ago, or, so it's important that we don't miss the mark and we make sure that we keep this out in the public and keep talking about it. So I want to say thank you, Diana. You're doing great online. You're sharing your story. You're being vulnerable. You're being honest, and that's all anyone can ever ask for, especially coming from an adoptee's experience like your own.
Yeah. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I'm really grateful to be here today. So thank you guys so much.
Oh, thank you.
Just when you thought summer couldn't get any hotter, Pluto TV is turning up the heat with thousands of free movies. Presenting Summer of Cinema. Stream your favorite blockbuster films like Gladiator.
I will have my vengeance.
Good Burger.
This is what I call fast food.
Beverly Hills Cop. The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo. And Julie and Julia.
Bon appetit.
All for free on your favorite devices. Pluto TV. Stream now. Pay never.
At Arizona State University, we've made online education better, smarter, and more personalized so you can go further in your aspiring field.
I decided to pursue medicine once I realized that ASU did have the online program for biological sciences. You're still required to learn the same curriculum. You're still being tested on the same content that anyone would be tested on in person. The comprehensiveness of the program prepared me so well for medical school.
Explore over 350 plus programs at asuonline.asu.edu.